Good evening and welcome to another edition of I've Got a Bike, a Pink Floyd discussion. And with me tonight is Dan. Hey, Dan, how are you?
Doing great, Kurt. Doing great.
Good. I'm going to sneak over here and make sure this YouTube is behaving. All right. Hey, thanks for joining tonight, everybody. We're going to talk about this record right here. This is Roger Waters, The Wall, live in Berlin. This copy in my hand was part of Record Store Day 2020, Record Store Day Drops 2020, and it was for the September, the second drop of Record Store Day Drops 2020, and then of course I have the CD. And I think Dan has the reissue CD. Yes, he does.
The German pressing of the CD.
So Dan's got the reissue.
With a DVD as well. So it's the 2 CDs and DVD.
Yeah, so there you go. But before we hop into this, Pink Floyd announced a new record. Can you believe it? Let's take a look at it. It's the Delicate Sound of Thunder. There we go. Pink Floyd, The Delicate Sound of Thunder is being reissued, and it's reissued with some additional items. So, Dan, you've studied a little more than I did, but it looks like we have a CD, yep. We have a 3 LP, we have a Blu-ray, we have a DVD, and then we have a CD Deluxe. And the CD Deluxe, Dan, is going to has some additional tracks, right, Dan?
Yeah, so the CD is the same, but it comes with a Blu-ray and a DVD. The Blu-ray and DVD are identical, just different qualities. But the Blu-ray and DVD have 5 additional tracks over the regular Blu-ray and DVD that you can buy. And I guess that's how they get the $14 premium on that set. Plus, you get a little book, and it comes in a little case, and you get postcards and poster.
Right, but it's just compact disc only, correct?
No, it's CD, Blu-ray, and a DVD. So 2 CDs.
So there's no vinyl, correct?
No vinyl.
It's all disc.
Yeah, all disc.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. But I do like the intrigued a little bit with the different artwork that's put together there. So that's going to be interesting to see.
And the vinyl, by the way, has 11 additional tracks over the original vinyl.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
well, one cool thing I'm looking forward to about this one is that this was the tour that I saw. So hopefully everything will look very, very, very familiar and sound familiar to me. But yeah, so there we go, folks. So it is available for pre-order, and it's available for pre-order on my website, RecordKrate.com. If you'd like to go there and go ahead and make it happen, let's do that. And let's say hello to Adam.
Just real quick, if you have the early years box set, then you already have the new CDs as they're going to be. You already have the regular issue DVD and Blu-ray, but not the deluxe ones that come with the extra tracks. And your regular CD, DVD, and Blu-ray don't have any of the bonus material. Although I haven't had a chance to research, I think you get that bonus material on other DVD, Blu-rays within the set. So,
where's that flow chart we need?
I know. I've been putting it's 2 pages of notes on one little release because I got to decide if I'm going to buy it. And I'm definitely buying the vinyl, and I'm getting that through Kurt.
Okay, good. Yeah. Hey, Adam, how are you doing tonight? Thanks for joining with us. I appreciate it a bunch. Adam and I were texting this afternoon, so it's good to reach out to you.
And I also want to say, if you've got the Laserdisc or VHS, that equals the same as the now DVD and Blu-ray. They just were never released that way before. So the Laserdisc it's the same concert, same everything. But again, without the bonus tracks, it's well worth getting if you can afford it and are gonna watch the bonus material. So,
but this is a remaster.
It is.
It is a remaster.
It sounds really good too.
And I would like to. I like to get Guy on here. Tell us a little bit more about it. I'd like to hear more about which selections have him playing bass on it. Yeah. So that's really cool. Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. So let's take a look at this. So Pink Floyd released a record in 19. See, I always get the year.
1990. Oh, The Wall. Yeah.
I always get the movie and the LP.
Yeah.
So the LP was 77. I'm sorry.
Was it 79-82 or?
Wasn't the record 77 and the movie was 79?
Oh,
is that correct?
I don't think so, but someone in the comments answer that. I got thrown off by the question.
Got thrown off by the question.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it was released in 79. The movie
79
was 79, and then The Wall came later. Yeah. So Pink Floyd released this record. They didn't tour very much. They didn't play very many shows because, as I understand, it was costly. It cost a lot of money, and they just wasn't getting the money that it cost for the production. So, but the movie, I think, really helped out with that, with some income, and so there you go. And so they released the final cut. David and Nick go on and start working on A Momentary Lapse of Reason, and Richard comes along. Roger does The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. Roger does Radio Chaos. And then the story goes is that Roger says, if the wall ever comes down, I'm going to play the wall again. And so the Berlin Wall came down, and Roger Waters said that he was going to do the wall, and he did it. And it was 1990, if I'm not mistaken, and it was broadcast live, and not only on television but on radio, and then lots of technical things happened, but in the end, we ended up with this record right here called Roger Waters' The Wall Live in Berlin, which is the result of that concert with the Berlin Wall coming down. Yeah. Do you remember that day, Dan? Were you listening to it on the radio?
I do. I listened to it on the radio. And I was in high school. And it was very difficult to get radio reception where I was. But we were able to go with the few like diehard Pink Floyd fans at that time. There were like 30 of us. We're all crammed in this one. It was a boarding school. We're all crammed in this one teacher's apartment that was up higher, and he had his long antenna going up, and he could get better radio reception. I can't remember his name now. Rocco, I think. It was, so we listened to that. And then I remember afterwards, we then listened to Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. It was my first exposure to Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking.
Did it seem like that broadcast took forever?
Like it lasted forever. It took so long to get going. Well,
not so long to get going, but there were some technical difficulties, and they had to stop and restart. And I read that they had to get the electricians to rewire some things. Circuit kept breaking, and Sinead did not want to lip sync, and it was just a mess, as I understand. But I remember listening to that, thinking, all right, anytime now they're going to come back, and we're going to hear the rest of this song. We're going to hear the rest of this. And I remember just being like, come on now, make it happen.
I'm thinking now that's why we listened to Pros and Cons, was that it cut off, and we said let's listen to pros and cons. I kind of forgot that.
Yeah. Well, all of this is just a memory, and then what I've been researching and reading online is that must be the reason why. I don't remember it being on television.
Yeah, I don't remember being on television. I do remember getting it on VHS and going to that same teacher's apartment. We watched it on VHS, and I had that VHS for a while, and then it broke, and I took it apart, and I tied it. Broke at one end at the beginning, and I tied the tape together. I didn't have any splicing stuff. I literally tied a knot in the tape, but I tied the knot big enough that it couldn't push through the spindle. So I could play the tape some more, and then it broke again, and that was it. I got 3 or 4 more playings out of it.
Yeah. And as I understood, they just basically found a piece of land that was almost flat. The fact that there wasn't very much building there, and the stage was up against part of the wall that remained, and they used that as part of the security. And
this has a shot of it on there if you want to zoom in on that. Doesn't really tell the story, but you kind of see the wall behind it right up here. So
yeah,
kind of neat.
It was a big event when that wall came down. The Berlin Wall. And is this the same image, Dan? Let's take a look. This is the inside of the LP.
Let's see. No, it's not. Because that's got the Live Aid whistle on it, and more of the wall is built. But yeah. Look at in all 3 of my discs, it's the same image on the front. They didn't do light green, but you see that's a different thing in the circle, and the walls built a little differently.
Yeah, absolutely. And
there's at least 2 photos of that concert.
For sure. And of course the video, shows a lot about panning of the audience, but it's been a while since I watched that. And
it's probably been 15 years since I watched it.
So this is out of the compact disc, and it's a little booklet, and it's essentially the same thing that's on the center of the LP. Yeah. And I think my LP, my original LP, is at home, in a safe place. Yeah. Hello, Katie. How are you doing tonight? Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Thank you so much.
And I actually do not have an original LP of this.
Oh, there are plenty of them. It didn't sell very well. So
looking online, I can get it for pretty cheap. I'm happy with this one because I'm sure it sounds great.
Oh, it does.
It does. Okay.
It does.
And it's all that clearish vinyl, so you get the cool factor.
Well, the bass is a little interesting, but I was going to get into that a little later. This is
all right. We'll talk later.
Do you remember when we got lots of explanations when we purchased?
What's AAD, ADD,
ABB, key of G?
Yeah. And I was all my friends were looking for DDD. They wanted digital all the way, and I was looking for AAD. I was always looking for the music that was AAD because I wanted to be analog until the very end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do remember the radio station. I don't remember which radio station it was, but they were playing part of the concert that took place before the Wall was scheduled to play. And the Hooters played, the Sheepsons played, but I don't recall listening to any of that.
I only remember hearing the Hooters play, and because they've got that distinctive accordion in their music, so I very vividly remember hearing that ahead of time.
It would be great to find some live recordings, like from the audience of that performance.
Yeah.
And that way we could hear all the stopping of everything's coming to a halt and things like that. So it was really, really an interesting time that I remember. I was really looking forward to hearing this. Of course, it was already after I saw Pink Floyd, and so just wasn't sure what it was going to be like. And then when I heard it, I had very mixed feelings about it. So that was mainly because I wanted everybody to be back together and playing music again. But
yeah,
it wasn't it wasn't that. So that's for sure. I remember the radio station would tease Roger Waters, The Wall, live in Berlin, and they would talk about Cyndi Lauper is going to be joining him, and we're like, Cyndi Lauper, and so, but it turns out that she was one of my favorite performers on the record. And we can talk about favorite songs and least favorite songs and songs that should never be heard again, and things like that. But first and foremost, big thanks for whoever was responsible for getting this out there again, because this was a very popular title. I think I could have sold a couple more dozen of these, and I wish I had a couple more dozen. It was kind of hard to get, and they sold really fast. So I think you were one of the fortunate ones, Dan, that made an appointment.
Very fortunate to get a copy.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's kind of neat. It is on colored vinyl. I mean, clear vinyl. And so I'm going to show the vinyl. And
press in Germany, right?
Yeah. The little hype sticker, which I did save, but I was a little surprised. I totally forgot that it was going to be clear vinyl, and so when I opened the record, I was excited. I wanted to leave the shrink on there, but I also wanted to see what was on the center. So this was on the back of the record, made in Germany. It was on the shrink, and I did.
Was it picture sleeves or just regular sleeves?
The picture sleeves. They look fairly nice.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'm gonna highlight me.
Oh, that's a good shot. I'm gonna open mine soon. I just haven't gotten to it. It's been a busy week, so I've been listening to it on the CD.
Lots of credits here.
Tim Curry's in there as the
Tim is in there.
Prosecutor.
Yeah, there's Tim right there.
Yeah.
Tim was in Raleigh last year.
Yep.
And it would have been great to get him to autograph this. Absolutely. And of course, here's the vinyl. And of course, on the other side, it has song tracks and things of that nature. But it's
that side would look great framed hanging on the wall,
wouldn't it though?
Yeah.
But it does have the like the 70s GEMA, which was kind of cool. So yeah, and then there's more photographs, more text, more information, and here's another image.
Good one of the pig.
Yeah. I don't remember the pig being that evil in The Wall, the movie. Do you? But so good job on the packaging. It feels just like 1990.
And it's a very 90s cover.
It is, yeah. So this was the first time I've seen it this big, and you're used to this, and it looks teeny tiny, but you get the real effect right here, and which is fine. It is fine.
Late 80s, early 90s, but that's fine. It should.
It's like stonewashed jeans.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah. If someone had told me back in 1989 that Roger Waters is going to have this production and have a list of all the players in there, I'm like, huh? That just doesn't sound right. And but I think a lot of those guests made it happen.
Mhm.
Like I said, Cyndi Lauper, I think she did a wonderful job.
Well, and Snowy White was playing when she was singing.
Mm-hmm.
That was really neat.
Yeah, and yeah, Snowy's good. Snowy's good. You can tell that he was a guy that stood beside David for all those years, and I've seen um, I've seen live shows of Pink Floyd uh, playing it in Nassau Coliseum, playing The Wall live, and through all the technical difficulties, but yet David and Snowy did a fantastic job. Just playing it, making it happen. He was so much part of the band during the tour of The Wall, and not only was he at the live in Berlin, but he continued playing with Roger. So he definitely brought a touch of David Gilmour, even though David wasn't there.
Now this had the Bleeding Heart band was here. Did they play together? They didn't do any more albums together after this, did they?
I don't think they did, but Snowy continued being there. Andy Farewell, Andy Farewell,
Yeah.
Farewell. I can't recall his name, but I think he did some things with Roger. Paul Kurak continued doing things with Roger. I think Michael Kamen is always available to do something with Roger, and yeah, so that's just really interesting. What's your favorite song on the album?
So I think my favorite song is probably the one that the Hooters do. It's the one that gets stuck in my head the most. I'm looking for it in the track listing.
The Hooters?
Yeah. Where is it? Well, maybe it's not the Hooters. They must be on it because you hear the
You hear a lot of accordion, more accordion than I've
yeah.
ever heard before.
Yeah.
Which makes me think of that, but at the same time,
maybe I was just mentally projecting that. I think the Scorpions absolutely nail In the Flesh and their other song. I mean, that's a band that was made to play that song. And Cyndi Lauper on another Brick in the Wall Part 2 is just really great. I thought Bryan Adams was fine. And Van Morrison did a real good job of Comfortably Numb. I thought that was really good. Clearly, Kirk didn't like that one. The only part that I really don't like is the Jerry Hall doing all these your guitars with a Fabulous Room stuff. That was pretty annoying to me. She just pretty clearly had never seen that portion or heard that portion of the album and or the album at all, and or just tried to. I mean, it seemed like she just memorized some lines, went out stage, and said, "I'm going to say it this way."
Yeah, or I was going to say maybe she did hear it, and she's like, "Ooh, I'm going to do it better." Yeah,
she did not do it better, I don't think. But it's a part that really it's a throwaway piece anyway. It just kind of is that transition in from him realizing that his wife was cheating on him to he's going to cheat on his wife, even though, there you are.
Maybe if her vocal level was a little lower, maybe if she was, her voice was compressed or something like that, it may have sound a little better. But I definitely can relate to what you're saying. First and foremost, the Scorpions. I think I think they should have stayed on stage and just did the entire wall because they were just incredibly good. I mean, the singer, I've always thought he had an incredible voice, and it held up so well. I would love to hear rehearsals. I would love to hear the first time they went through it. I would love to hear it. That would be so cool. Brian Adams is a wonderful musician, but Young Lust is one of those songs I never want to hear again in my life. I just don't like that song at all. It's the bluesiest thing that's on the wall. And Van Morrison, I've never cared for his voice, so that's why. But Mother, the Hooters did play on Mother.
Okay.
Of course, Sinead sang, and
that's it. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, what we listen to when we hear this is a rehearsal because of the technical problems. And she was asked to lip sing, and she says no. And so I think what we hear there is rehearsal. And but hey, it's a wonderful listen, start to finish. Musicians are really good. I would have been happy if the Scorpions just, hey, Snowy, come on over here and let's play some music.
Yeah, let's take care of the whole thing.
I would have been happy with that.
Yeah.
Hello, Elliot.
Hey, Elliot.
Hope you're doing well tonight.
So a friend of mine was actually over there a few weeks later, and he saw Phil Collins play, and I almost positive it was at the same venue, like at the same spot. Phil Collins did a free concert at the Wall a couple weeks later, and I'm like not positive, but pretty sure it was at the same spot.
Well, as I understood, they not only do they just find an area that was almost, it wasn't used, and they had to get professionals to go out there and look for bombs, and they found some. And also, while they were preparing to build the stage, they found a bunker, and so that was cool.
That's pretty neat.
Of course, it says it was a Hitler bunker, but I guess every bunker during the war would have been a Hitler bunker. But and so that was really interesting. And and of course, not only were we hearing about Roger Waters, and darn if he just didn't have the proper because the Berlin Wall came down, he had so much publicity associated with this, and people were just saying, "Oh, he's going to play there," and so it was really interesting. And so it was very fortunate for him because he got a lot of free publicity. And so I guess if they kept the stage there, I don't know if they had to run electricity or if they brought in generators, but it kind of sounded like it was in a field somewhere. Yeah. And I understand that the production team asked the officials to leave up part of the wall so they could have it there for the concert, and then the production team put chain link fence around that wall to protect it. I remember you could purchase a piece of the wall.
Yeah, I've got one around here somewhere.
And people were sending in money and getting a piece of the wall mailed to them.
Yeah.
And I think that was a pretty big thing. And so, but I also think people were just chopping away at it and taking their own souvenirs with them. And I don't blame them. I would have too.
Yeah. So I think my dad gave me a piece of the wall for Christmas that year. And then my friend that went over and saw Phil Collins there, and he just happened to be in Germany at the time. But he chipped a bunch of pieces off and brought them back and gave them out to all his friends. So I've got that piece of wall. I have no idea where it is now. If I spot it, I'll grab it and show it. But it's just a chunk of concrete.
Yeah. Did it have any writing or painting on it?
No, neither of my pieces have any spray
It
paint
could have
on it.
been on the inside. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
one of mine has white paint on it, but
Ooh,
just white paint.
yeah.
So
It's interesting because I'm thinking the official was like, yeah, take this wall and sell it. That way we don't have to clean up the street, you know.
yeah, I mean, you're like free demolition or paid demolition.
But there's got to be a documentary on the wall coming down, and I think it would be really cool to see. But I remember watching the news, maybe even MTV News would show people just tearing down parts of it and crushing it and hitting it with hammers and tools.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. If you get enough of those, Dan, you can recreate part of the
Piece
wall
it back together. Yeah.
in your backyard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't do a shootout today, but I did listen to this on vinyl, and I was very pleased with the sound. But there's something about the bass I just can't pinpoint. So I did want to. It was my desire to do a shootout with a CD player, but I just never got that far today. And
yeah, I listened to digital all week, and including today, and then I listened to Delicate Sound of Thunder, the re-release today as well.
mm-hmm. I was hoping there was going to be a download in there.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
But yeah, absolutely. So kudos for Roger. It would have been great to have seen an interview with Roger where he would announce this coming out and talk about it and reflect upon it and things like that. Yeah. If you happen to pick up one, not only here but on the CD, it talks about the Memorial Fund for Disaster Relief. The Memorial Fund for the Disaster Relief thanks each of the artists for donating all of their royalties from the sale of this record. And so there you go. And so, as I understood, that Roger continued doing this, and but I think with ticket sales, it pretty much paid for the production, and then it was time for the vinyl to come out, time for the CD, time for the cassette, time for I think it came out on Laserdisc, and anyway, whatever format it came out on, and then eventually the disaster fund stopped, and then Roger started making money from this, and it's said that most of the money that Roger earned from this was from the sale of the video, whether it was VHS or DVD, or if it was Laserdisc, which I think it was, and so.
Yeah, 1990 probably. There might not even been a DVD. Oh well, sorry. I say that I've got a DVD right here, so there were DVDs. Some days, man.
But what year was the one you have pressed?
Let's see. This says 2004, 2006. So
right, yeah.
So no earlier than 2006.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure that the DVD came much later. Yeah, this one is big and chunky, and as much as I like these, I'm so afraid of them because if they break,
very hard to get new cases.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there we go, Roger. If you're tuning in, you should chime in and tell us about the record and how it came to be a Record Store Day title for 2020.
And I would like to know why there was no hype sticker on it. There was nothing talking about anything. It doesn't mention it's clear vinyl. It doesn't mention that it's a Record Store Day drops 2020 title. It doesn't say anything about the number pressed, which I think was 7,000 or 8,000.
When I was setting up the StreamYard, I did find an image that had the hype sticker, had a hype sticker.
But I think that was, and I looked at several on like eBay that showed the hype sticker, but they were all the exact same image. And I think it was the just press release of it from Record Store Day.
I think it was a promotional image that was used for that. But I haven't seen anyone say, they photograph it with the hype sticker. So
yeah. And all the listings on eBay that show a new image of it. So like they're clearly, if they have that one for sale, do not have a hype sticker.
Isn't it interesting that 12, 13 years ago people were like, oh my gosh, this is a record store day, and there's like 14 titles and I got 8 of them, and years later we're like, why don't they have hype stickers on them?
Oh, where's my dang hype sticker?
Darn it, we expect more from record. Yeah, so
but I mean, clearly it sold well, but you think like, unless you open it up, how do you tell that from an original one? When you open it as a clear vinyl, it's obvious. But
that's a good question. Let's see if there's any clues on the back.
I couldn't, other than the main Germany, which I'm sure there's other copies. And
well, made in the EU in 1990, we didn't have EU. And then
that made in Germany sticker on the back. That's
of course the
hype sticker.
The UMC would tell the story.
Yeah.
Katie asked, I was wondering why a lot of RSD releases didn't have the numbered copies on the jacket. That's a good question. I really like it when it has the number, whether it's stamped or printed or handwritten.
Yeah, like the Bill Evans titles, they always handwrite it on the back. It's really nice that they do that. And then the hype sticker will say how many it's limited to. Well, this one doesn't. Yeah. Sometimes the hype stickers tell you how many it's limited to.
So that's up to the labels. It's up to the labels that release it. And I think I've shared before that a lot of the Record Store Day stickers, just the sticker that says Record Store Day, that happens at the pressing plants. And I'm sure there's an agreement between the labels and the pressing plants. And they said, here's a roll of stickers. Make sure you put one on every one. And so, and things like that. I want a roll of stickers.
And everything's a Record Store Day title.
Yes, absolutely. Bill Cosby records. Yeah. So, and so that's really neat. And so, yeah. Do you think there's ever going to be this pressing that's signed by Roger?
Probably. If he's able to go on tour again, you can pay $1,000 and get him to sign something.
You get to go the meet and greet, and none of the releases I picked up had that. Oh wow!
So the big one this time that I think was numbered was the Ramones for those last release. That's stamped up in the corner. So that was last weekend's Record Store Day.
Right.
Rob's 2020 release.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, yeah. But a lot of people, they take the shrink off and the stickers off.
Yeah.
And so,
but yeah, it would be nice if they numbered more of them. Like usually the Jerry Garcia box sets are numbered, but this best of that came out last weekend was not numbered.
Did you open it?
I haven't had a chance to. I haven't played any vinyl this week. It's been.
I wonder if it's numbered on the inside.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll find out soon because I will be playing that soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so I guess it varies from release to release, but I think it's a little special when it has the number, and I think it's special when it comes with a hype sticker.
Yeah.
Well, the hype sticker, of course, but I think it's Record Store Day.
Yeah,
which is cool because sometimes the record will be released later, maybe not as a colored vinyl, and I hope this comes out on black, folks. I really do, because I think more people would enjoy having it.
Yeah, the Dave Matthews Band did that with a Record Store Day release. So, like, this was a Record Store Day release a few years ago, and it's numbered, and it's on colored vinyl, and it came with the download card. That was nice too. That's pretty rare now. But limited edition, first time ever on vinyl. But then it was released almost immediately after Record Store Day in just black vinyl for about $10 less. I was happy to get it it was gray colored vinyl in this release. So it's great concert. Really, really nice fun.
Very cool. Yeah, it's really neat when you're able to get the colored vinyl or something of that nature. Absolutely. Yeah.
And on the Record Store Day website, they do tell you how many are pressed of each record. But again, I was in the book publishing business for years. And so I know firsthand from working with lots of publishers that if you say you do a run of, say, 7,000 copies of a book, you're going to end up releasing to the public somewhere between 6,000 and 7,500. And you don't stop at 7,000. You order about 7,500 because you have to do an overrun for ones that are bad. And then you're tossing out the ones that don't meet QC. And so you always did a 10% overrun, 15% overrun, depending on the title. And the distributors would just sell all of them that were good. So the publishing company that I collect the most, which I actually ended up working for, called Arkham House, they always would print in the back of their books how many copies were made. And it might say 1,000 copies of this book, but then when you actually look at the records of what was sold and what was destroyed, it might be there was only 700 copies of that book ever available to purchase.
Wow.
And sometimes it might say 1,000 and there were 1,300 copies available for purchase.
Interesting.
It's similar in the record industry where the 7,000, 8,000 is a rough estimate or a close estimate.
I've often wondered about that, especially with people who work for the company, bands and things like that. Pass them all out.
Yeah,
that'd be a good question. So when the pandemic's over, that'll be a good question for me to ask Carrie, or if I end up on a Zoom, something like that. Yeah.
And it's always fun, talking about the numbers. It's always fun when you end up with something with like an incredibly low number, like this Miles Davis Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab. I'm not that interested in this Miles Davis album, but I bought it because it's number 35. I just was like, it's such a low number. I just felt like I think I paid $25 for it, and like, just such a low number. I just had to buy it.
I'm with you, Katie. I think it's fun finding that stuff. Absolutely, yeah. So, congratulations to the people who ended up getting one of these. I'm happy for you. This was the only thing that I purchased for myself for Record Store Day Drops 2020 September. And I don't even know what's for October, but
it's Rocktober now.
It is October. Then we have Rocktober. All these wonderful records coming out for Rocktober. It's just great, folks. It's just great.
And an old Record Store Day title that got stupidly expensive is released in Rocktober. The Crow soundtrack.
Yeah.
If you missed it Record Store Day before and don't want to pay the $250, $300 to get it now, buy one in Rocktober. It's only available this month.
Yeah.
And I think only from independent record stores.
Absolutely.
I've got one on order from Kirk already.
You can pre-order it on the website, folks, if you like. But yeah. So there we go. What's coming up in the future? I don't know. I don't know what the subject's going to be for the next I've Got a Bike, but we'll reach and find out something. Dan, do you remember the release date of Montreal Delicate Sound Thunder?
I think it's the middle of next month.
That would be November.
Yeah, middle of November. Let me see. I'm pulling it up right now. November 18th, 2020.
November 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll have to definitely talk about that the following week.
Mhm.
And darn it, maybe I'll get my copy before the release date, and I'll do some reviews online. But yeah, so there we
Well,
go.
if you got the early years box set, you've got it on CD. You got the CD will match the vinyl.
Later years.
Track listing. So
Later years.
later years. I said early years. Yeah, I meant later years.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the later years box set, it's wonderful. Okay, it's great. It's this giant box. One problem with it: it's taller than a record, and it won't fit in the IKEA record shelves. So, I mean, I should be able to just put it on my record shelves. And
just put it in there sideways like that. It'll fit there.
yeah. I guess gonna put it in that way.
There you go. Yeah. Problem solved. There you go.
Yeah.
Or you can put it on the top, on the very top of the shelf like this. Put it on top of that speaker like this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it vibrates. By the way, the box set that's coming out of Delicate Sound of Thunder is going to be, they said, the same dimensions, probably the same thickness even as the Endless River deluxe box set that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So that way you can put it next to your David Gilmour Live in Pompeii and your David Gilmour Rattle That Lock, and everything matches up all nice on your shelf.
Very cool.
That's the way it should be done.
But then again, okay, so that's Pink Floyd, but then there's so many different CD box sets. Like the one behind me, that Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Same size as an LP, but it's CDs. And Bruce Springsteen was the same way. And I have a Roger Whittaker record that's wider than the bin. So I have to put that on the wall. Darn it. Make it a display piece. There you go, Katie. There you go. That's what you need to do.
We have so many display pieces. So, yeah. I've got a couple special versions of Delicate Sound of Thunder to show when we do that show. I'm not going to show them tonight. I've got them right here, but I'm going to hold off on showing them.
That's
There's
right.
A couple really neat versions of it.
Yeah. So there you go. But I want to thank everybody for stopping by. And as we discussed, Roger Waters' The Wall, live in Berlin. I'm sure there's probably going to be some that pop up on eBay, or I wish I could control the prices, folks, but there you go. Maybe it'll show up used, or maybe, so there we go. But at the same time, you can probably find these on eBay at a good price. You could probably find the original release on eBay at a better price. Yeah, absolutely. As well as the cassette and was it on laser? Was it on mini disc? Seems like it was.
Mini disc. Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
1990, probably.
I can't afford
94, I think.
I can't afford to buy anything on mini disc now because all the factory mini disc records are just.
Oh my God! I've got one. I've got one mini disc.
Stupid.
One mini disc. I've got one digital compact cassette, and no DAT tape.
Stupid. I got DATs because I do have a DAT player, or I had a DAT player, so I have tons of DATs. Yeah, which was great. If it wasn't for the Grateful Dead community, the DAT would have died longer, but that was a good source for making copies. Yeah. So anyway,
it was
different story, different time. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Oh, I think I do have that. I think I do have that image, or not. I do not. I thought I did. Yeah. Okay, guys. Sorry, folks. But anyway, thank you, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. It was cool hanging out with you. Put in the comment your favorite song on Roger Waters' The Wall, live in Berlin, and put in the comments your least favorite song on Roger Waters' The Wall, live in Berlin. And we'll be reading those comments a little later. Katie's got a comment coming through. They are insane. I wanted one for my record deep dive, but not now, but not for $100. You're saying Pink Floyd The Wall live in Berlin is $100?
Yeah, because I was seeing them for like 25, 30 a couple weeks ago. But maybe this is. Are you talking about this copy of the wall? Look on Discogs, because it was going for about 35 on Discogs.
The original or the RSD drops 2020?
Yeah,
Sir.
the RSD, there's $23 and up with a average price of 27. The highest it's sold on Discogs is 28 right now. So 214 for sale. So stay away from eBay. Go straight to Discogs.
She was saying the mini disc. Oh, you want
mini? No, yeah.
Do you not have? Oh, what you can do, Katie, is that you can buy a blank mini disc,
record,
then put your Photoshop skills to work.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's for posterity,
there's companies that still will do printed mini discs. Mm-hmm. They have new old stock mini discs that they laser print onto.
That's true, and there's probably a template floating around here somewhere too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love my mini disc. I do. I just wish it had. Yeah, but I have one sampler that has maybe a song from the wall. There's a Pink Floyd song. I can't recall. I have to find it. I think. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Katie says she'll have to look for that. Yeah. So there we go. Thank you so much, folks. Everybody have a good night. Dan, have a wonderful night. And everybody rock and roll, and see you soon. Bye.
Mm-hmm.